right now is Democrat strategist and former Hillary Clinton spokesperson Tim Hogan. He is also an ARC Initiative senior advisor. Also joining me is Fox News political analyst and author of the book Taken for Granted, Gianno Caldwell. Great to see you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Tim,
great to be with you.
Your thoughts, is the mainstream media or the Democrats beginning to figure out that perhaps Joe Biden may not be the nominee for 24?
No, I think this is still just blather at this point. It would be insane for Democrats to abandon a sitting president with the advantages of incumbency, someone who's been vetted nationally more than anyone else, someone who has beaten Donald Trump, who is going to be his likely opponent. And meanwhile, we see Donald Trump in Iowa over the weekend talking about whether or not he'd rather be electrocuted or eaten alive by a shark, whether or not you need voter ID to purchase bread. I mean, the reality is when this election comes into focus, Donald Trump is the lens through which many voters are going to view this. Joe Biden's beaten him before. He's going to beat him again. And I think people are putting too much emphasis on the age issue. You have an 80-year-old and a 77-year-old. Those are the realities. But I think Biden is best positioned to beat Trump.
Tim, I don't know that it's just the age issues. It's also mental capacity for Joe Biden. And what do you make of the polls of a majority of people unhappy with Joe Biden's performance? Isn't that enough to say, well, maybe we should be looking at others?
I mean, I would say at this point in October of 2023 and fall of the off year, you saw a bunch of other presidents from Reagan to Obama to Bill Clinton in the same position, all around the low 40s, and then rebound as they are working on an improving economy and win their reelection. So I think Joe Biden's positioned to do that. He's also positioned to run on a really good record of getting bipartisan Infrastructure Act jobs done, getting the CHIPS Act done, getting the PACT Act done, getting bipartisan gun control legislation done. There's a lot there, and I think we're in a moment right now where that choice has just not come into focus between Trump and Biden.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned all of those packages that he got done. That's why we were in the situation we were in, close to a government shutdown because of all of the spending and $6 trillion in borrowing. Gianno Caldwell, is this going to be an issue for the upcoming election?
What we have, Maria, is a Democratic Party in chaos. What I just heard was massive gaslighting that we usually hear from liberal pundits and certainly the liberal media. The Democratic Party is in crisis because of the border. They're in crisis because of inflation. They're in crisis because many Americans don't believe that the president of the United States can be trusted. They believe that he's corrupt, that he doesn't have the mental acuity to do or stamina to do the job. The fact that you got somebody like RFK Jr., who Democrats should have allowed to play in this primary, but they obviously didn't. They did just like they did Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, ensure that the candidate that they wanted to bless would be the nominee. But at the same time, the Biden administration preventing RFK Jr. from having Secret Service protection when his dad has been assassinated, when his uncle's been assassinated. This is an extreme Democratic Party right here, and they're going to pay the price if RFK Jr. does, in fact, decide that he's going to run as a third-party candidate. They cannot put lipstick on a pig anymore. This is where we are, Maria.
What about that, Tim? The presidential candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., says he's got a big announcement. He's fueling speculation that he could actually leave the Democrat Party and become an independent. He says he's going to have a major announcement coming up. Here, watch this.
I'm going to be in Philadelphia on October 9th to make a major announcement. I'm not going to tell you right now exactly what that announcement will be. I can say, though, that if you've been waiting to come to one of my public events, this will be the one to come to.
Tim, what about that? Do you think if Kennedy runs as an independent, that takes votes away from Joe Biden? And also, how come the Democrats are so against having a debate? Why not let's hear Kennedy versus Biden, like the Republicans have their debates?
Well, Republicans, the RNC has never hosted a debate going back to Reagan when there has been an incumbent president, so that's nothing new. But I think the RFK Jr. situation is interesting because Republicans, you might get what you wish for, and it might be bad for you. A Quinnipiac poll from mid-September shows that Republicans like RFK Jr. by about 30 points. Democrats dislike him by about 40 points. Democrats like Nikki Haley and Chris Christie better than RFK. And so this is why you have conservative pundits like Charlie Kirk now freaking out that if he goes and runs on a libertarian ticket or as an independent, he may siphon votes away from Donald Trump.
Gianno, your thoughts?
I think that would be a very difficult thing to do. The Trump base is fully locked in. We see that with the Republican primaries. I don't think folks who are conservative are going to go over to RFK Jr. He's still a liberal at the end of the day. And although he does have some cross points where conservatives do agree with some of the things that he says, I think most folks just want to see him be a divider to Joe Biden at this particular point. I don't think it's going to work out where he's siphoning off votes from Donald Trump at all.
Yeah, and Gianno, you mentioned all of the issues in terms of policy. I know you've been doing a lot studying crime and the impact on the population as well. Add that to the list in terms of the impact of bad policy.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. We're a country in crisis when it comes to crime. We're under siege. We see that overall crime is up over 30% in Chicago. We have significant numbers in New York, Philadelphia, and a lot of these left-leaning cities. And we're seeing a population shift to places like Texas and Florida because people honestly want to be safe. And unfortunately, these local communities have not taken their citizens' safety to protect as they should. And this is where we are as a country. I think that's going to have an impact on the next election for sure. And
it certainly has had an impact on these polls. So I want to thank you both, Tim Hogan and Gianno Caldwell. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll keep watching all of that, and we'll